In this video, I'm going to be discussing how to run Easy Composites style memory mates for sports photo automation. And these are hybrid template designs that are a combination of sports photo automation and Easy Composites. And this is a brand new concept that I just came up with. And this tutorial video here is going to pertain to all future designs. Now, this is the first design I've released with this concept, but for any future designs, the procedure will be the same. This is actually really easy to do. If you're familiar with how to use sports photo automation, then you'll really get the hang of this pretty quickly. So with the Easy Composites designs, the whole purpose of these designs is to save time because virtual teams can be kind of tedious to make. You've got to cut out all of your images. You got to put those together with Easy Team Builder and sometimes move images around, rescale, proportion your images. There can be a little bit of time involved per team, and doing it this way is going to be a lot less time consuming than doing virtual teams. Now, the images you're going to be giving Easy Composites to build the composite file are not going to be cutout images. Now, if the images are cut out, you'll need to put those against the background because you don't use cutout images for this part of it. In these image slots, the images are not going to be cut out. And it's going to be sort of similar to a class composite style, but with the sports, these can be designed a lot more creatively, I think. And each design may be different that I release with how these images are positioned, but the procedure for how you run it's exactly the same. Now, from the purpose of running sports photo automation, everything is exactly the same when you're running this style of memory mate compared to running an Easy Team Builder style memory mate. There's absolutely no difference. You're going to still have a team layer, and it's your regular SPA team layer. Inside of that layer, you have the composite that was created by Easy Composites. So the only difference is how the team was created. If you're doing virtual teams, you use Easy Team Builder. If you're doing this more of a class composite style, you're going to use Easy Composites. And in the case of Easy Composites, you can put names in the design when it's building them, but it's just going to be a single file or a single layer file that you're feeding into sports photo automation. So just to demonstrate here, if I go to the template setup, if I just hit add custom team image, and I've got a folder of teams that I already created for the demonstration. And you can see that loads in the same way. We've got our player names, but again, that is this entire image was created with Easy Composites. Now, it's done with a transparent background, so it's put the names in the image slots in the layer styling, but it's left the background transparent. That way you're seeing the rest of the sports photo automation design through here. Now, I'm going to demonstrate a batch in sports photo automation. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to create this composite in Easy Composites. And for people who have already been using Easy Composites for class composites, you'll already know how to do that part. That's why I'm saving that for the end of the video. Oh, one other thing before I close this. Now, with these layer names, you do have a choice with this template here. And a lot of my future templates will have this same option, but you can choose to put the individual player. So in the memory mate for your individual featured player, you can put their name in the template. And if there's already a hidden group called name group, and leave that in the group, because if I just hid the layer itself and you had a data file that had a name, but you didn't want that in there and this was hidden, when it replaces the text, it will show this layer. So I put it in the group. That way it stayed hidden. But if you need it, show those. And then when you build your Easy Composites design, you just won't add the individual player names if you want. If you don't want those, if you want to use just the featured player name instead of all the individuals, when you build the Easy Composites file, you just don't use names with it. And I'll show you how to do that in the end of the video when I demonstrate how to build the Easy Composites file. But for now, let's first run a batch in Sports Photo Automation. And I've already got the batch set up ready to go, but I just wanted to show you this because I want to show you that this is identical to how you will run if you're doing virtual teams in Easy Team Builder. You're still setting up your player images folder is going to be your individual players that are going in the template. Then your save folder is where you save them, of course. Your template file, this is where you're going to load in. You're going to load in the Sports Photo Automation template, the Easy Composites template here, not the Easy Composites templates. You're loading in the Sports Photo Automation one here. And then as far as running memory mates, it's the same exact thing. You hit create memory mates. You can choose from using the same team for the entire batch. And in that case, you could select your team file, or you could run, you could get the team images from the CSV file. And in that case, you will select your folder that has your different team images, which is what I'll do for this demonstration. So exactly like you're used to running for your other memory mates, no difference. Now, for the CSV that I loaded here, I've got my team files here. It's the same team file column in Sports Photo Automation. And then the for this run, I'm going to actually do the color changing actions too, which I show in a different video how to set those up. But I'm running those for the post action to change colors per team. Okay, this should be ready to go. So I'm just going to hit run, and then we'll time lapse this video and take a look at it. All right, that batch process has finished. Let's take a look at the finished files here. Okay, you see that each one of them has the memory mate in there. Also, those color changing actions that I discussed in the other video, we can see those do their work there. Also, another thing to point out too is you see these image slots here. These ones are just rectangle with rounded corners, and the other group has this hourglass shaped image slot. I will discuss that in just a moment when we go into there, but that's something that is set up when you create the Easy Composites team files. You've also got a couple different choices here. You can zoom in more like we did here on the faces when we cropped them to create this team image, or you can back out and show the player numbers if you want. I showed both those options just to show you you do have different options for how you display those. But again, these images, you're not giving it cutouts, you're giving it images against a solid background. All right, so let's go in and discuss creating these composites or the team files in Easy Composites. All right, so let me just I'm going to try to not make this video too long because I know a lot of you are already familiar with Easy Composites, and I've got videos for doing the class composites, and a lot of this is redundant. So watch those videos as I cover a lot more in depth. So I'm going to try to make this as brief as I can for this. All right, so just to explain how Easy Composites works generally is you're going to have a folder called Easy Composite or Easy Comp template files, and this folder contains not just one but a whole set of PSD files. There's a graphics file, and then there's layout files. And when it builds the composite, based on how many images are in that folder, it's going to select the proper PSD for that number of images and select the graphics file, and it's going to merge those together to make our final composite. Now with these hybrid templates, one of the differences in between this and what you may be used to with the school sports is the graphics file is going to be transparent, because we're not adding the graphics when we build the composite in Easy Composites. We're adding the actual graphics with sports photo automation. So we want to build these against a transparent background. However, there is a layer styles group here, which is going to have a light style for the image, a dark style, which is basically just the stroke. Each of these have a drop shadow in the stroke, but we can have a white stroke or a dark stroke, as well as a light text style, which in this case is white with a black border around it, and the dark text is just all black. So it needs the graphics file just so that you have those different options when you build your composites, which will make sense in just a moment. So to build a composite, you're just going to select your folder that has your players in it. And these are the Easy Composites players, not the individuals that are the sports photo automation features. These are just the ones that go into the team image. So let me find this here. Okay. And then this template will work with all of these different elements down here. So for the name text, by default, it's going to be a white text in this template with a black border around it, but you can choose solid black text, solid white text, that light layer style or the dark layer style, or you can turn the name text off. Then for the corners, if you leave these on default, it'll be that hourglass corner. And I built these with that hourglass style to kind of match the angles of the template, of the sports photo automation template. In the layer style, this is where you'll choose that for the white or black stroke around the image. And by default, this one is going to use the white stroke. So I'm just leaving all these at default. And I selected my folder of images. And for the names, the player names, you've got two options. You can use a CSV file, or you can use a file names option. This is kind of redundant information from the other videos, so I apologize if you already know this information, but for the people who haven't used Easy Composites, I guess they need to know this. So if you name your files for Easy Composites last name underscore first name to start the file name, then you can automatically use that information for the player names. It's got to be last underscore first. Then you can have additional text after another underscore, which it will ignore everything after the second underscore. So in this case, I'm just going to choose to use the data mode of file names to get the text into the composite. So let's just hit build composite here. Okay, and this is the final composite that you would use for sports photo automation. So you would save this off. If you're doing these one at a time, you'd have to save them. You can do this in batch, which I'll demonstrate in a minute here. But if you got multiple layers, do a save as copy. And I highly recommend when you save to use either a TIFF or a WebP. It's called a WebP, but it's pronounced WebP, because both of these will always have the sRGB profile embedded. PNG, if you're automating batch automation, the plugins cannot actually embed sRGB into PNG. It's a Photoshop limitation. I think it's by design, but anyways, I would WebP or WebP is my new favorite format. It's same exact quality as TIFF or PNG, but a smaller file size. It's got a better compression ratio. So in any case, you would save that off. I'm going to run a batch, but before I do, I want to do one more demo here. So let's say we didn't want that hourglass in here. We can choose any of these other styles for corners. Let's say we wanted the dark layer style with the dark stroke. And yeah, let's just, then for the text, let's choose solid black text. For this one, I think I'm going to use the CSV file just so I can show you that. And I'll load that CSV file in. And just to show you what that CSV file needs to look like. So if you're running from a spreadsheet, you need to have the first name column and the last name column and their names in here. And for this particular design, it doesn't matter if you use small case or capitals. In the template design, I actually forced everything to caps anyway, so it doesn't matter for this particular template. But I covered this in a lot more detail in the Easy Composites tutorials. So let's just build this one real quick. And so if you didn't want that hourglass and you wanted rounded corners, you could do that. And if you're putting into a light color background, you might want to switch the border color to dark to give it more contrast, as well as the names. You might want to set those to black as well. All right, so batch processing. In order to batch process, you need to have all of your images in one folder. So in this case, I've got a folder that's got 2 teams of images. You'll need to have a data file. And that data file has both teams in it, but what you'll need is a column called group ID. And in that group ID, you will put the name of the team, or it doesn't have to be the name of the team. It just has to be something that's unique to all the players in the team. So anything within the same team will have the same exact text in this. And it's going to use this to actually name the file as well. So it'll name this file Aspire, it'll name this file Trojans, and it's going to build these 2 teams and separate them based on this column. So let's select this folder here. And to run a batch, you would hit batch mode. Don't hit memory mate mode. That's not used with these hybrid sports photo automation templates. Just use the regular batch mode. And then when you save these, you'll want to save these as a single layer file. And like I say, I recommend TIFF or WebP. I don't recommend PNG because you're not going to get sRGB embedded into the file. It'll still work as long as your color settings in Photoshop are set to sRGB, but if they're not, it can cause color shifting. I'm just going to put these back to default. All right, I'm just going to now, let's select the save folder here. I'm just going to make a new folder. All right, that should be it. Hopefully that all works. We'll see here. All right, so that finished, and let's take a look at our folder here. And here's our 2 images that we just made. And these are the files that you would feed into Sports Photo Automation. One more thing, since I said I was going to show and I didn't, is if you didn't want text in your Easy Composites build, you would just turn this to off. Let me select just one folder here. And we don't really need a CSV. Let's just hit file names. If you're batching, you have to have a CSV. So if you need to turn the text off and you have columns in your CSV that have the text, the easiest way is just to turn it off. If you're just building one at a time, you can actually just put data mode none, and it won't put names in. But if you're building from a CSV file, you have to have it. And if you have those columns, this is the other way to turn the text off. Okay, you see now in this case, we don't have the player names here. So if you were wanting to instead use the featured player name in the Sports Photo Automation template and not all the player names for the team, you would just turn that to off, and then you would save your files like this. And you can do that in batch as well. So I know this video drug on, but this is actually really, really simple to do. And I think once you start using this method, you're really going to like it with these Easy Composites. And there's a lot more styles I'm going to be producing in the near future for these two. So I'm pretty excited about that. Thanks for watching.